Ladies and gentlemen, Wrestling Worm is back, and oh boy, we've got some serious things to talk about today. Yes, I'll get to SmackDown in a second, but first we have to talk about this absolute circus. WWE has officially confirmed that WrestleMania 43 is happening in Saudi Arabia. And while I was still recording, breaking news hit. The Rock just got worked into this mess. I saw a report on Twitter saying they're trying to finalize a deal for The Rock to show up at this Saudi Mania. You already know what that means. Rock versus Roman, Rock versus Cody, or maybe some forced triple threat nonsense. Let's be real. All of us, the actual wrestling fans, want Rock versus Roman. Period. That's the dream match. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the idea of that actually happening, low-key got me hyped. But here's the problem. What if they give us Rock versus Roman at the expense of the rest of the show being hot garbage? A show with no star power, no effort, and no new talent being built. Because, let's be honest, Triple H doesn't know what he's doing half the time. If that's the trade-off, it's trash. But Rock versus Roman? That's once in a lifetime. Wrestling Worm has to see that. And let me remind y'all, I called this months ago. I literally made a video saying it was going to happen. People acting shocked like, oh my God, Mania in Saudi Arabia. Bro, stop. We knew. This isn't new. The issue isn't that WrestleMania is outside the US. The issue is how WWE is doing it in the most sellout fashion possible. New Orleans had Mania lined up. They snatched it and shoved Mania 42 back into Vegas for the second year in a row. London was in the talks for years. Nope, sorry, scratch that. Instead, Saudi Arabia cuts the check, and here we go. WWE doesn't care about the fans. They care about who's waving the fattest wallet. And let's be real, France should have had a SummerSlam, a Rumble, maybe even a Mania by now. Instead, they get C-tier and D-tier shows like Clash in Paris, which was straight trash, and Backlash, which was at least decent. But now we're jumping to WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia? That's insane. And the way they announced it, oh my God, it was embarrassing. A live stream lineup of wrestlers looking like they were at gunpoint. Joseph Tessitore, Bianca Belair, Charlatan Flair, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Triple Fraud, all lined up to kiss the boots of some Saudi official, Turkey Al-something, the guy who cut the check. Liv Morgan popped up too, wearing a jacket, no visible brace, so maybe she's healed, maybe not, who knows. Stephanie McSomething was there. Logan Paul was trotted out to advertise Mania in Saudi like this was some influencer promo deal. Then Seth Rollins too, pretending to be excited, but let's be honest, every single one of them looked dead inside. It was corporate, lifeless, robotic. Zero passion. Logan Paul was literally trying not to laugh half the time. Triple H gets on the mic and delivers the fakest speech ever. We thank Saudi Arabia, we love you, you're amazing partners. Bro, shut up. You don't even believe what you're saying. He was just reading names off a list like a middle school presentation. And then this Turkey guy flips it around and praises Triple H for continuing Vince McMahon's legacy of making big money deals. And guess what? They even name-dropped Vince multiple times. So congratulations, folks. Vince McMahon is still haunting WWE like the ghost of corporate greed. This wasn't an announcement. It was a hostage video. WWE doesn't care about us. It's not about storytelling. It's not about fans. It's not even about wrestling anymore. It's about money, period. So now they're casually dropping Vince McMahon's name again, just like how they slowly started teasing Brock Lesnar before he popped up at SummerSlam. And let's be real. That means Vince could waltz back into WWE at any moment. You never know with this clown show of a company. But the real point here, nobody looked excited during that Mania to Saudi announcement. Nobody. They were all lying through their teeth, clapping weak little golf claps like, yay, Saudi Arabia, please. Stop insulting us. Nobody cares. Seth Rollins looked completely cooked. Man looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Triple Fraud wasn't even on SmackDown again because he was too busy at that Vegas livestream kissing Saudi boots. That's the second or third SmackDown he's missed this month, on top of already missing a couple Raws. This dude is MIA more than Roman Reigns, and he's supposed to be running the company. Then Bianca Belair gets up there and she's like, Saudi Arabia has become a home to women's wrestling. They've welcomed us with open arms. It's a great place for women's wrestlers. Girl, stop. Just stop. That's corporate propaganda if I've ever heard it. We've seen the reports. We've seen the backlash. Women in Saudi shows have had limited opportunities, watered-down matches, and constant fan criticism. To stand there and act like it's some feminist paradise, that's not just a lie, that's insulting. And here's the real scary part. What the hell is Mania 43 even gonna look like? John Cena is retiring. Randy Orton and CM Punk are basically running on fumes. Roman's already part-time and will probably dip in a few years. Rollins, maybe 3 good years left tops. And Triple H has built 0 new stars. None. Nada. So what's the Mania card gonna be? Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes in the main event? Logan Paul versus Grandpa Randy Orton? Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley in 2027 for a feud that should have happened years ago? And you just know WWE's fallback plan. Drag out the old legends again. The Rock, if they can back up the Brinks truck. John Cena. Don't be surprised if he comes out of retirement in 2 years just to collect that Saudi money bag. Because let's not pretend, they're paying these dudes millions per match. Goldberg walked into Saudi, wrestled Roman for 5 minutes, and it got paid like $2 million. Cena's payday would be triple that. So what are we left with? A WrestleMania with no stars, no hype, no excitement. This is supposed to be the grandest stage of them all, but under Triple Fraud, it's the grandest cash grab of them all. This company is empty. It's a hollow shell. They're not building the future. They're milking the past. The company's already dead, and Mania 43 is just the funeral with fireworks. Triple H wants to call this the Paul Levesque era? Nah. It's the sellout era, where everything is corporate, soulless, and garbage. And guess what? Whether you like it or not, you're getting more of it. All right, enough of this fake Mania hype. Let's get into SmackDown, which, spoiler alert, was also a dumpster fire. We opened the show with one of the dumbest, most pointless segments ever. Because, of course, Triple H only knows how to book pop moments. Brock Lesnar strolls out, crowd gives him a mixed reaction, and before he can even speak, here comes R-Truth. And what do? They literally waste 5 minutes with these two asking each other the same stupid questions back and forth like this was some bad improv comedy skit. Then, obviously, Lesnar F5s him. And that's the whole segment. That's the big opening of SmackDown. R-Truth was brought back just to be a clown and get flattened. Remember when the We Want Truth movement was trending? Yeah, Triple H brought him back just to prove us right. He doesn't care. He'll use truth as a punchline and nothing more. Triple H isn't even at work, so what's the point anymore? This company runs itself into the ground while he's busy doing God knows what. Anyway, R-Truth grabs the mic and goes, "I'm tired of the disrespect, Brock. I used to be scared of you, but now I'm not." And then Brock Lesnar hits him with, "I don't even know who you are." And Truth, being Truth, says he's John Cena's little brother, Ron Cena. Yeah, that actually happened. And I'll be honest, a couple lines made me laugh, but logically, this was absolute clownery. Why is Brock Lesnar even on this show when John Cena was already announced for the next Raw? If you want Brock confronting Cena, just wait until Raw. Instead, they wasted Brock here just for a cheap Brock is back moment and maybe a tiny ratings bump. And the promo? Oh my God, it was like a bad WWE 2K cutscene. Brock keeps asking, "Are you John Cena's younger brother? Are you really his brother? Are you sure you're his younger brother?" Meanwhile, R-Truth keeps going, "No, he's my older brother." And they repeat this back and forth like 4 times straight. I kid you not. It was like watching AI glitch out. Then Brock asks him 3 times if he knows where John Cena is. Truth says no, but claims he's here to defend his big brother. Then Brock randomly blurts out, "Are you missing a tooth?" Truth checks his teeth and boom, F5. And to top it off, Brock's pants rip in the back, exposing his blue underwear. Dude starts laughing, shaking his butt for the camera, literally moons the crowd, tells the cameraman, "Screw it, Stu, I ripped my pants," laughs like a madman, shakes some fans' hands, and just walks off. No explanation, no storyline, nothing about Cena, just Brock mooning the world like he's auditioning for a comedy sketch. It was embarrassing. In the moment, yeah, you laugh at how stupid it is, but when you really think about it, this was trash. This was trash content. Nobody came out of it looking good. Then we move on to Sami Zayn versus Rey Fenix for the US title. Match was fine, but again, nobody cares. This isn't John Cena's US Open Challenge where we got instant classics with Kevin Owens or Cesaro. This is Sami Zayn defending against a guy who's been stuck wrestling mid-card filler for 9 months straight. We all knew Rey had 0 chance of winning. At least with Cena, sometimes you believed he might lose. With Sami, not a chance. The US title feels worthless now. If this was for the world title, maybe it'd be cool. But for this, nah. Sammy retains. We move on. Then we get another pointless segment. Julia and Kiana James beating up B-Fab until Michin runs out. Yawn. Nobody cares about this mid-card women's division nonsense. It's filler. After that, they announce Carmelo Hayes versus Sami Zayn for next week's US title match. Chelsea Green gets a tag title shot. Aleister Black, or whatever they're calling him now, cuts a video with Damian Priest. That's literally it. Finally, the main event, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Basic match. Orton sells a bad knee, Drew attacks it, hits 2 claymores, and wins. Then he sets Randy up for a table spot at Hack, but surprise, surprise, Cody Rhodes returns. And the pop? Weak. Barely anyone cared, and this guy is the WWE champion. Cody announces he's facing Drew at WrestlePalooza for the title, and that's the big closing segment. And that's it. That was your SmackDown. Pointless, boring, nothing to write home about. Honestly, if it weren't for the Mania 43 news earlier, this review would have been 5 minutes max. That's how empty this show was. There's literally nothing worth talking about on this show. Absolute nothing burger. Oh wait, I almost forgot one thing. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. Now, on paper, it was a solid match. In reality, Botch City, population, these two. Moves not making sense, some random no-selling sprinkled in like it was seasoning, but instead of making the food better, it made it taste like garbage. Look, no-selling can sometimes be cool if it's done right. But if you eat a finisher, roll outside the ring like nothing happened, and then hit your own move, that's just stupid. Tiffany did hit a wild moonsault to the outside, landing flat on her back like she was auditioning for a mattress commercial. Then Jade speared her straight through the barricade. We got some Alabama slams, some jump kicks, a few good counters. It had its moments. But of course, it all ends in the most predictable way possible. Double count out after the barricade spear. Because God forbid WWE actually picks a winner. And right on cue, who waddles out? Nia Jax. She runs in, wrecks Tiffany and Jade, and cuts the same promo we've heard for years. I'm coming back for the title I never lost. Bro, Nia Jax has been coming back for the title for about 19 decades now. At this point, she should have her own exhibit in WWE Hall of Fame, the perpetual challenger who never leaves. Meanwhile, Drew McIntyre is still out here crying about Punk, crying about Cody, crying about Randy, basically crying about not being booked like a star. Dude's turned into a Scottish jobber poet, always brooding, always whining. And that's the show, folks. WWE rerunning the same old feuds. No new stars, rinse and repeat. The whole thing was garbage. SmackDown this week? Wrestling Worm gives it a 1 out of 10, and that's me being generous. A total waste of time. Thanks for watching. Now go do something more productive than WWE Creative clearly is. Peace out, one love, and don't botch your moonsaults.